It was another beautiful night in the Freemason Nazi mind control gang stalk torture chamber. They came at me because I nearly molested somebody when I was 9 years old. But to be fair to me, there was no one else there, and I did the self-restraint thing. Well, that was part of their strategic child molestation program, so. But anyway, they were hanging that over my head earlier. Because I noticed that they were Nazi bioterrorists who did 9/11 in COVID. And the Israeli hoax concert attack. And they fake all news. And apparently I was King David in a past life, and it was very upsetting to them because I can't find God, and they've been hacking my brain to find God or something like that. I try not to let it upset me, but anyway. Apparently, yeah, I'm locked out of the Jesus stuff. I tried. Well, there's nothing there for me, so I go to Oblivion or whatever. But I go to Oblivion complaining about Nazi bioterrorists. I mean, that was, again, more of their Freemason stuff when I was a kid. The spiritual woo-woo haunting Oblivion awaits. But year 17 of their mind control torture. They get up in the middle of the night, torture me all night long in video games. They did 9/11. They fake all news. They control both sides of government, so they love the child molestation thing. That's like their go-to bread and butter. Whatever weird spiritual forces they are, Egyptian brain snakes or Satan or whatever, I have no idea. But another night of torture and the gangs talking. It was Facebook put up pedophilia as like the first thing. As the first short. Again, 9 years old, and it didn't happen. Before God. Before anyone. I swear on my soul. Haunted me for a solid 20 years. But anyway. That's how they do their spiritual witchcraft stuff. That's how they own presidents and prime ministers, and how they get their false flag wars going. So anyway, I try not to let it bother me. But they like to come attack me every night, so I just say, brr. Brr. You men are Nazis. You men killed 15 million people with COVID. Maimed another 500,000. That's what you do with tax dollars. For my part, I used to sit around and learn science and say, oh, this is something you could help people with. I remember I ran away from psychology when I was 17. I took a college course over the summer, and I opened the chapter Industrial Psychology, and I instantly knew. I was like, oh, this is some happy worker as a productive worker bullshit. This is some shit they do to manipulate and control people. Where anyway, all that goes on. Your government's bioterrorists. They did 9/11. And they gang stalk torture people. It's not very pleasant. It's a living nightmare where they hollow out your brain and they cook your brain, and their demon snake god comes along and tortures you alongside them, and they use their electro torture. That's why they did COVID, and ask 5G EMF poisoning. Hey, they told me I was Daniel in the Bible too. So I'm fairly consistent about, hey, the dragon footsteps. He just made them, or whatever the story is. I don't remember. But anyway, they did COVID, they did 9/11, they do all the fake school shootings, all the fake terror attacks. And they start charities off like all the Sandy Hook mothers started charities so that they can collect more. George Floyd's family off the fake thing collected $15 million and another $3 million for the daughter in GoFundMe. They do that right in time for elections to distract you, so you won't notice they control all like news, and you won't get into any deep political stuff where they all get uncomfortable. Hey, as near as I can tell, it's Freemasonry. I don't know. I can't pin it down. Well, they called me the Beast. They said, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Hey, they do their witchy mind fuck stuff. Aliens was my favorite movie series. Just about. Aside from some other random things, so after they came torture me. Look at David in Prometheus. See how he is? Like, God, is that me? Is that... Is I flying around space and killing the blue people? And then they called me Anakin Skywalker and blah 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 and blah blah blah. I have no idea. I don't know the history of these things. I know current events. Current events is they're Nazi bioterrorists. They did false flag 9/11, and then they made it like sacrosanct to support our troops. How dare you not support our troops? Like anybody who's over the age of like 40 knows that's true. But then after they did false flag October 7th, they're like, how dare you not condemn the Israelis? Which, I mean, again, it's two genocides. Same evil actions, but afterwards, like after false flag 9/11, you didn't see one image of war for 15 years. After false flag October 7th, they're like, hey, war, look how horrible war is. Look how horrible they are. They're around about 100,000 sexual assaults after, by U.S. troops, or U.S. troops reported 100,000 sexual assaults. People who weren't 9 years old. That was the person who brought me porn when I was 8 years old. Hardcore porn. Had that weird smile on his face. Oh. I remember it. Well, something else was home for a minute. Something else very concerned with getting porn into my 8-year-old hands. But, whatchamacallit. Yeah, so 100,000 sexual assaults in the Iraq War roundabout. Not one report on the news. And then in the past couple of months, I've seen 2 reports of sexual assaults by Israeli soldiers. Like they use psychological games to make people fight people, make people attack people. So I don't know the truth of any of this stuff. Maybe it's just my bad karma. Could be. People think that killing cannibals is okay because of me. It says it in the Bible. I would think. I mean, my modern mind. Growing up in Valley Stream, I would have thought if you encountered a cannibal tribe, you would go help them and be like, no, look, here's chicken. But apparently I'm not allowed to learn better. I have to be the same person I was 5 lifetimes ago or whatever. This is the Freemason people track this somehow. I guess their Egyptian brain snake god keeps records or something. Who knows? Makes no sense to me. I can't figure it out. Their cleverness is just beyond comprehension. They're like my favorite band when I was 13, 14. Wound up being attack songs. The king of bad decisions. He's got the pride of Frankenstein. I didn't know. I don't know that, I mean, biblically, I have no idea. I don't want to assign name and blame and be wrong. Or whatever it is, weird spiritual witchy hoodoo forces. And they keep challenging me. They keep saying, oh, we're going to kill you tonight. Oh, we're going to kill your friends. Oh, we're going to kill your cat. They fake killed my cat. It was a cat that I really loved. I used to walk around from my town to the other town over the creek, and he would always be sunbathing. It was a black cat. Sunbathing in the sandy creek. And then one day, with their witchy ways, a car hit that cat, and my neighbors were worried that it was my cat, and I couldn't find my cat because I got a black cat, and That morning, I had been watching satellite space mirrors on YouTube. It's right next to the dead black cat. Somebody put like a brand new silverware plate, like a nice fancy plate facing like a space mirror because it's facing space. And that's their gang stalking synergy. They love that shit. That's where your tax dollars actually go. That's why trillions of dollars go missing. They assassinate people. They assassinated Turin Shiki, Beverly Eckhart, Pat Tillman, Bill Cooper, Gary Webb, people that I know about. They do things like they must have told Hillary that she was going to lose the election, so I must have told her it was her turn. So a month before she lost in their fake news cycle, Chelsea bombing Chelsea. If you don't keep up with politics, Hillary Clinton's daughter's name is Chelsea. And then right when the Epstein files got released, was whatchamacallit? Right when the Epstein files got released, it was a Massacre in Bondi, and Pam Bondi's in charge of releasing the Epstein files. I'd imagine with their weird witchy ways, whatchamacallit, the Dalai Lama molesting a kid was, like he went like this or whatever to a kid, and they called that child molestation. Hey, my grandpa used to always stick his dentures out and freak us out as kids, like if this is child molestation. Anyway, but they do that to get a headline to spiritually haunt their insiders, their elites. I know from their weird hoodoo spiritual, again, like I said, the aliens movies and stuff, their weird witchy mindfuckery, that whatchamacallit, there's oh yeah, the chair company, since everyone's going after Bill Gates, and Bill Gates is probably nervous, they made that chair company. I'm sure that's got like keywords from his life thing that he would remember, that whatever the snake or Leviathan or whatever it is screwing in his brain right now. A thing that whatchamacallit, a thing that RFK, when he says he's got a brain worm, like that's what it feels like. That's what the demonic torture feels like. I know it well. They've been cooking my brain for 17 years. They've been on me for decades. I had a big crush on a girl, and her birthday was on a license plate 2 houses that way, and a vanity plate, and then on a vanity plate some blocks the other way. It's a strange vanity plate to have just those numbers, but that's what they did. And they do their brain hacking code, so like that, the other house, it was PHX, which would only be Phoenix in my mind, because I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. So, so Phoenix was, that's their, I guess they rise from ashes or something, but me, I'm very science-minded, like, okay, what's the mechanism behind that? You guys just, bathe in fire and then come back, okay. Good for you. But anyway. They say, oh, he's a coward for not fighting us or something. That's what they've been torturing me. They're supposed to attack me, and then I'm supposed to hit them with a slingshot or something, but I'm just not that person anymore. I spent my whole life concerned for people and appreciating people. Till the Nazis came. The Nazis came and they sang the songs and they said, hello from the other side. And they said, don't call my name, Fernando. They said, you're a force of nature. And they said, oh, you said you were king, you lied through your teeth, you're getting capped. Hey. But I love me some Eminem. That was when they started. It was like a perfect attack because I super cared about Eminem, so whatever weird witchy. I was like, why are you guys coming after me? What am I, Jesus? Hey, That's what I was thinking at the time. I was the only person in the room who knew that 9/11 was a bad idea, or sorry, not 9/11. I didn't know it was a false flag at the time. I was the only person that I knew that was like, no, you're supposed to forgive them. You're supposed to pray for them. You're supposed to. You're not supposed to wage wars of aggression. So anyway, I was wondering why they were spiritually attacking me. I was trying to make sense of it. I was confused. Hey. But then they said they got the eye of the tiger, blah blah. They made all this shit weird and witchy and biblical, and I have no idea. To me, it's just crazy people doing crazy things, but there are demonic forces or whatever they are, and I don't know how to fight them, so. You just point out that there's a lot of people doing that stuff, like crazy people. I just keep hoping somewhere in the universe there's some sense, but I don't know. Here we are, stuck fighting. Normal people read the Bible and they're like, oh, don't kill, don't steal. I read the Bible and I'm like, okay, well, Simon Peter, and then you're gonna mount Sin AI on Simon. Like, well, there's some tampering that went on with language and tampering that went on with, is that some snake tampering or something? Because, like, there's such arbitrary things, you know? It's, like, AI didn't need to be called AI, and simulation didn't need to be called simulation. There would have been other words, I'm sure, you could have perfectly used for, could have been artificial reality and simulated intelligence, you know? Like, just as my brain is fried, so I can't think of good examples. But anyway, who knows? But the Nazi bioterrorists won't stop torturing me, and I got no faith to just let it lie. Plus, they torture me every day. They come torture me every day. Again, it's their 9/11 stuff. It's their go in shooting and get a reaction, so they come attack me so they can get a reaction. But these are honest reactions. Like, I'm not trying to manipulate anything. I'm not trying to gain anything. After they came attacking me, I just laid here for 17 years asking God for help. I mean, it was around a solid 7 years or so where I was just hardcore praying. But anyway, all that goes on. That's all that insanity. What else they do? They poison the sky, they poison babies, water, medicine with neurotoxins. Neurotoxins attack your brain, make you soft-willed, easily suggestible, give these evil things that you won't notice until, like, they really close in on you. You just think, like, oh yeah, no, I've got to, yeah, I think that about that, and they're just like something. That's how they're able to get so many kids with their trans stuff that they started off using as like a distraction for an election cycle, and then they just rolled it into, and then they got their special cabal people rolling it back, and people like, oh, he's a hero, he rolled it back, but still part of the cabal that selects presidents. And anyway, it's all beyond me. I don't know what to do with any of it. Hopefully, whoever God is comes heals us all. This is some dumb shit. It's some stupid people doing stupid stuff. I was just reminiscing today. What did you do on 9/11? Like, I went back to sleep. I was like, oh, more of this? Okay. But I grew up going to war museums, so I was already super bored with that kind of thing. But anyway, all that goes on. It's the Nazi bioterrorists, and they do their Nazi bioterrorism. And they do their mind control torture. And they've come to an impasse because they want to kill me, but they don't want to kill me or something. I don't know, they just want to torture me or... I have no idea. But anyway, if they hadn't come for me, I would have spent my life sitting right there playing video games, thinking the world was a fucked up place. Being sad there was no God, because How could there be a God if all this stuff? Apparently, there's a God somewhere, or gods somewhere, multiple gods. So I wouldn't want to pigeonhole anyone into any kind of belief. I was a happy person when I believed all the Jesus stuff as an atheist. So be good to other people and do unto others. But then I picked up the Book of Revelation and I was like, and then I tortured the prostitute. And I was like, what? Huh? But anyway, all that goes on. I mean, Bible snakes and stuff, like maybe, who knows what put the Book of Revelation in there. There's a kid who's cracked the Bible code with, like, Jesus' name is mentioned 777 times, and then mentioned 777 times, and the 777th in the middle is all very impressive. And he's like, who could do that but God? And I'm like, the universe is 15 billion years old, like, probably a lot of different things could do that. I worry that it's the snake thing brewing around in my brain, because that sort of thing is not being good to people, or helping people, or being kind to people, or being loving or forgiving or respectful, or to give Yahweh his due credit to the ways of peace they know not. None of the we've decoded this has anything to do with the price of tea in China. But anyway, these are my insane ramblings. These guys, they do their, like, purely demonic stuff, like anything traditionally demonic, like, we know your name, we know what you did, now we own you. I don't believe in those kinds of things. I believe, like anything that's the best thing, I believe I think, God's gotta be better than that. It probably gets me into more trouble than, but at least in these dark corners, it gives me hope. Just hope that everybody's just gone crazy from demon brain snakes and leadership, snaking leaders' brains, and the cult people. They're like, it's another false flag. The NPCs don't get it. But anyway. Well, I try to do nothing and be happy. And it was very nice. It was a very nice life. Way back when. But I keep telling them, they got all the money in the world. They can go disappear. They don't need to get caught or exposed or anything. They can go home and try and find peace with God or the universe or Jesus or whatever. They don't need to keep pushing, but they keep pushing, so I got my little pushback. I'll say, okay, NATO. Okay, CIA. Hi. I live in Valley Stream, New York. Area code 11580-2715, I think. Not hard to find. But anyway, they'd rather torture me and pretend they're not there. What you gonna do? So much evil stuff. I don't know what to do with any of it. I don't know how to heal people that are demonic. Demonic in the old sense of saying it, like somebody who's got a demon. Somebody who's got unclean spirits, or the sins of Egypt clinging to them, or really super bad karma or something. I have no idea. I got no idea. I just find myself in spiritual witchy battle, and I just keep doing it. It's like, okay, then kill me. What are you guys waiting for? You guys kill lots of people. Oh, what you gonna do? So anyway, there's all that. Again, the universe is like 50 trillion, billion stars. Like, somebody's got a better idea than this. There's gotta be some humanity out there. Like, normal people care about, like, animals and lesser creatures, quote unquote lesser. I used to almost said Brother Wolf when I was St. Francis, right? I said Brother Moon or whatever I said, I have no idea. That's what they tell me. They tell me, oh, keep hoping St. Francis. That is the kind of asshole that I am. That kind of asshole. I'm like that. I'm like, okay, God, word. But anyway, so something's got a handle on it, but there's too many things that have a handle on it, and all these witchy people just make life suck, and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy their torture at all. I try to have fun with it, but it's taxing. It's vexing. But with the mind control stuff again, nobody ever thought George Washington was putting a voice in their head. Nobody ever thought Abraham Lincoln was putting a voice in their head. Nobody ever thought that Chester or whatever, or Garfield or whatever, or Roosevelt or Truman was putting voices in their head. And then without anyone knowing, secretly, the CIA began doing voice-to-skull technology, they called it, where they were putting voices in people's head, or, that was the idea of it. And then all of a sudden, the 50s, 60s, while nobody knew about it because it didn't come out till like the 70s or 80s, right? Psych wards filled up with people saying, the government's putting voices in my head. Like, that's some easily trackable science. So. When they tell you the jabs don't hurt your kids, they're only there to hurt your kids. When they tell you there's no such thing as chemtrails, they've been dumping for years. Early onset Alzheimer's is up 373% since they began, and that was as of 5 years ago, so it's probably higher by now. That's drooling 45-year-olds, that's, and then for every drooling 45-year-old who winds up in a hospital and can't think anymore and lives the rest of their life in hellish nightmare, there's got to be hundreds of people who are just a little short-tempered with their kids, or can't remember where they left something, or other days just a little bit worse. Those are the stuff I can put my hands on. The scientific stuff, the stuff that makes sense to me. Since they're hurting people, people are hurt, and hurt people, and that makes everything worse. And they're like, no, triangle finger. Okay. But that's they knocked me on my ass and tortured me, and I don't know what to do with any of it. I think they're idiots. I've matured a lot in 3,000 years, or 5 lifetimes, or sleeping with the fathers, or whatever happens. I have no idea. Again, I get to dig in on you guys. I don't need sleeping with the fathers like you guys. I mean, you died, and I have no idea. But anyway, all that goes on. All I got in life is my pretty eyelashes and my can-do attitude, and I don't know what to do with any of this. I don't know what to do with any of this insanity. But again, this was kind of upset that government spent a solid, must be in the plus 50 million. If I'm being honest, I would lazy guess over $100 million to torture me over the 17 years, probably more than that. Like, again, assassins don't come cheap. People who torture people don't come cheap. I know. The one guy down the block, that house is $750K, and then he's got a brand new Tesla truck, and so he's a gang stalker. And the other guy who ran my car, he's got a brand new, $750,000 house. I like it because it's, it's like your rapist moving next door. It's like I gotta walk by the guy that ran my car every day, and he's like, we're winning. If it says something there, it says I always keep fighting. I woke up fighting. Hey, it's like a child molester story, I should say. When I was 5 years old, before their strategic child molestation, after the initial strategic child molestation where they molested a girl, so she would show me bondage games when I was 4 years old. But after that, when I was 5 years old in kindergarten, I was a kid and he would bully the girls and the girls would scream, and then I would come over swinging. And then I get in trouble and I cry to the kindergarten teacher and say, it wasn't my fault. That's all I'm saying. So this isn't my fault I didn't do this. But again, the Anakin Skywalker stuff, maybe it is my fault. I don't know. Maybe the Nazi Bioterror just righteously torture me. I have no idea. But anyway, all that goes on. I can't make sense of it. I can't say, oh, this was God that told me. I got all these weird things. I'm like, oh, well, this could be an outside of time attack. I don't know that this is actually God. Anyway, Phil go down swinging verbally. That's why they came from my brain. I used to sit around here and know this shit out of my friends with, yeah, but that's not their fault. They grew up as mafia guys. That's not his fault. He's a stupid guy, and a guy with a 150 IQ's entrapping them. But anyway, so all that goes on. Fun. We have fun, don't we?